Production of Kansas City Week in Review is made possible through the generous support of Dave and Jamie Cummings, Smithfield Foods, Haas and Wilkerson Insurance, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
This week we take a break from politics as we push aside our reporters to bring you 4 of the city's top arts and culture leaders. Some of them are making headlines of their own this week. We get their take on the news in their world and in ours. Hello, I'm Nick Haynes, and in the words of Monty Python, and now for something completely different as we prod, poke and dissect the news with 4 of the smartest, pithiest, wittiest and brightest lights in Kansas City's arts and cultural scene. The head of the Nelson, Julian Zugazagoitia, is joining us around the cosy confines of our Week in Review table. So is the brand spanking new head of the American Jazz Museum, Chepto Kosatani Buckner. Frank Byrne is executive director at the Kansas City Symphony, and George Costello leads Union Station, which is erupting this week. More on that in just a moment. But first, we have just wrapped up a bitter election campaign season that has exposed deep fault lines here and across the country that can't easily be papered over. It is arts that has traditionally had the role to absorb different social currents and reflect it back into society. So what is the role of your organization in bridging that political divide? Or do you say that's not a role you should be playing? Frank?
Well, we are apolitical as an organization, but music has always had the power to heal, console, and allow people to reflect, and we offer that, and people seem to really appreciate it.
Do you think that's a role for the American Jazz Museum?
Oh,
Chepto?
definitely, I think. I mean, even before the election, we were doing a lot of things that were bringing the community together. We actually engaged in a project called Harmony on the Vine and painted a mural. Over 750 people throughout the community came and painted the mural together to showcase how art can connect and also make art accessible to the community.
How about at the Nelson?
Well, art, as it says, it is what brings us together. It brings us together also around our humanity. And so, for instance, one of the greatest satisfactions 2 weekends ago, Dia de los Muertos, the celebration of Day of the Dead, that was bringing together around 9,000 people, over 9,000 people, our biggest attendance for one day ever. But it was all social walks of life, all different Latinos and non-Latinos coming together. And I think the spaces of culture that we represent are spaces where authenticity, but also where you can be yourself. And I think that is a good reflection of what cultural organizations and the arts brings out our best of our humanity.
I couldn't help but notice, George, that in the video we just saw of some of the protests, they were going past Union Station. There were good advertisement there for Pompeii, because you saw the signs for the exhibit there as well.
Well, when we think of the arts, we're Kansas City's oldest artifact. And so people come to the community, and we're a gathering place. So when they're there, everyone is welcome. People feel comfortable in their home. So we're a living artifact, and we're an art. So people come up, they look at our Sistine Chapel, but they feel comfortable. And that's most important because it's on our community.
I saw, when we think about politics, there was a story just written about you recently, Julian, about how you spend most of your time. You said 70% of your time is spent raising money, speaking to donors about ideas. That's very much like a political role. You're almost like a political candidate.
Indeed, but I also said that I would never run for office. I have a high respect for that, and it is very different, actually, very different what we do. And it's not only raising money. I mean, really, our jobs, I think, as leaders in the cultural field is bringing patrons together, and when they debating ideas, coming up with programs, making sure that for our city we bring programs that really are relevant. So 70% is those conversations. Many of them end up with someone saying, I want to help that happen. And so some are artists that come to Kansas City, some are people who write a check, others are saying, let's put that idea together. But it is that kind of engagement, and I think we all do that, and it's around 70% of the time, sharing the passion that we have for the arts and making sure that that passion really resonates with our community.
That's how Julian spends his time. Complete this sentence for me, Chepto. I spend most of my time doing blank.
Building community and raising awareness of the American Jazz Museum.
Okay, and what are the challenges of doing that?
The challenges of doing that, I think, is I tell people the biggest challenge that I think the American Jazz Museum has is the local perception. We have an incredible perception from a national and international view, and so getting everybody to appreciate what we have here in Kansas City, the Jazz Museum, but also the heritage, where Kansas City is a major pillar when it comes to jazz. When you think about Charlie Parker and Count Basie and all the people that came through here that have made jazz great. So making sure that we as a community appreciate that heritage is the biggest thing that I'm trying to do right now.
The biggest spending of time for George Costello is what?
To make sure our customers have a magical experience at Union Station, and we have so many different customers. We earn 85% of our operating income. The remaining amount are people that want to be part of us through donors. We receive no tax dollars, and our major donors, like Bank of America, when they come, they help us bring an exhibition in. So as long as we're staying focused on our customer and that experience and engaging everyone, then we're successful. And that's what people expect.
Now, this is the 20th anniversary this year of the bi-state tax that allowed for the renovation of Union Station. Mm-hmm. Now, there was tax dollars involved then, but you don't get any tax dollars today from the city or the state?
No.
Okay.
We operate on our own.
How about for the symphony, Frank? Do you get tax dollars?
A very tiny amount from the Missouri Arts Council. We are grateful for it, but it amounts to about 0.6 of 1% of our annual budget.
How about at the Nelson, Julian?
Also, I think what we have all in common is that we do have to bring every dollar, but we are in a very generous and philanthropic community, and what I say is part of raising the money is some great donors, foundations, Bank of America, great foundations in the city that support all of us, but also the dollar that some people give at the gift box or the membership. I think our organizations thrive when people become members at any level of membership. They're engaged and they're sharing that, and then they receive, like being engaged also at KCPT, they receive the members magazine that tells you the calendar, that gives them more engagement. So there's all the spectrum from the greatest foundations that support us to the $1 and membership being, I think, the key of it, because it is really the relationship building element that supports all of it.
Now, you've been relying, though, on tax funding from City Hall to help support the work, though, of the American Jazz Museum. How much does that make up of your budget?
Well, I'd like to kind of, restate that. I think it's not depending on the city. We are actually a city-owned facility. And the American Jazz Museum is under a management contract to operate the facility that we are in. That is the relationship that we have with the city. So that is some of the revenue that we get. But there's also program revenue and, of course, fundraising, admissions. The thing that the museum also has is the Blue Room. We have a jazz club, and so that's another way that we bring in income to operate the museum as well.
Now, you started at the museum in April of this year. You were the second in command there at the Kansas City Public Library System. You always have hopes, dreams, ambitions of what you want to achieve. But when you came there, what surprised you the most when you took over the job?
What surprised me most is what really was in the museum. I think the enormous collection, the incredible archival collections and the things that we have that we are going to be showcasing here in a very few months. I mean, from the Charlie Parker saxophone, Bill Clinton saxophones, major guns from major jazz musicians and that kind of thing. The collection was a great surprise for me.
Fill in this blank for me, please, Frank. The biggest misconception about the symphony is blank.
People don't realize how many wonderful collaborations we have in the community, and that includes the three people at this table. We're talking with Chep too about a jazz program next year. Of course, with George, we have Bank of America celebration at the station, and with the Nelson, we commissioned a piece of music inspired by the art at the Nelson, and we'll be releasing that in January. So wonderful relationships, including the Youth Symphony, UMKC, and so many others. Lots of collaborations.
Julian, the biggest misconception about the Nelson?
Well, what I would say is still an enormous facility yet to be discovered. And when I first came, the biggest surprise was still a lot of people say, I love the Nelson, but I haven't been in many years. And so we want to make sure, because all the collections are free, and again, it's the richness of a collection that has put Kansas City in the map. But I feel sometimes locals don't enjoy it as much as they should, just because it is there. And it's like the china that you only bring for Thanksgiving. We'll use it for the special moment. And the fact that we're free, you can come for 5 minutes, you can come and spend the whole day, you can look at one painting, or you can look and run through the museum. So that is a perception that is changing little by little, and very, very strategically we are really making a lot of efforts to be open for
Can you give us one
everyone.
example, though, of where you're bringing in people who wouldn't be traditionally viewed as art lovers?
So if you see our tweet feed from last night or our Instagram from last night, you would see that we had various audiences. It's a third Thursday, and it has brought really millennials in. But as we were having a DJ doing great music in our lobby, at the same time, we were having a very different audience listening to medieval music in our cloister, thanks to a collaboration also with Cynthia Sever's program. And at the same time, the galleries were open for all. So it is such a vast place that you can have 2 or 3 programs going on. And the beauty is when our young leaders, there was another program for them, come all together into the lobby and see all of these offerings. So we're trying also to get multi-generational people to be comfortable seeing the other things that you would not expect at the Nelson.
Okay, we're going to get back to that topic in a moment, but I have to mention, because there has been one way that's, for instance, at Union Station, they're bringing in more people, has been doing big exhibits. For instance, there's an eruption taking place in Kansas City this week, and it's not the fallout from the election, it's the opening of the Pompeii exhibit at Union Station.
A city frozen in time after a devastating natural disaster is now on display at Union Station, making its North America debut. My name is Even Ebing, and let's explore what makes Pompeii the exhibition.
When you think about Vesuvius that sat right outside where they lived, and in that 24 hours, completely destroyed a civilization. What nature destroyed, it also preserved. And we're very fortunate now, some 1,000 years later, to experience their life and their culture.
We have an experience where visitors can jump in and play the role of a gladiator. Within Pompeii, there was a giant Colosseum where they would have these grand spectacles. Those artifacts are for the first time in the US and the first time out of Italy.
Pompeii, the exhibition will be here for a limited time. More info at unionstation.org. Back to you, Nick.
So you're the first place in all of North America to get this exhibit, George?
3 cities, yes, and we're part of it.
Okay, so do you spend a lot of your time then going to all these other places trying to recruit these exhibitions to come to Kansas City?
We do. We have to go internationally, and we have to understand our customer
Do you
base.
personally go out to these places?
I have done that. And for bodies, we did the same. So we have to go and see it personally. And then more importantly, I call friends. I called Julian. And I said, Julian, this is what we're thinking about doing. And he shares the thoughts with us. So we have this great collaborative nature within our community, but Pompeii was pretty amazing.
So what percentage of your overall budget now is coming from the revenue that comes from these exhibits?
So it's a very good question. We budget based upon break even. So we expect it to be 0. But now it provides about 1/3 of our operating income.
What's been the biggest exhibit for you over the years?
Your favorite, Diana.
Oh, Diana. Okay. No, I asked you about the Prince Charles exhibit, which you refused to.
Again, we haven't been able to bring him to Kansas City, and I doubt we will.
Well, there is an eruption taking place this week also at the Nelson, at least according to a story in the Kansas City Star this week. Headline, neighbors to Nelson Atkins promise you won't tear down our houses. 24 neighborhood residents stood in opposition at City Hall to a rezoning request by the Nelson Atkins. The Nelson wants to convert 4 homes it owns just north of the museum into office space for museum staff. The museum also wants to reuse part of the former Rock Hill Tennis Club site for a new sculpture garden and overflow parking lot. The neighbors are upset about the museum's expansion plans. They want to maintain the residential character of the neighborhood. But on a very basic level, Julian, given the huge size of the Nelson and the huge amounts of ground you have, why do you have to expand in the first place?
We're planning what is the next 20 years. And just to give you perspective, when the building was first built in 1930s, it was only half of the building that was used as a museum. The other one was a shell, knowing that it would grow into it. So that allowed for a big expansion within the building for many years. We have been very successful. The museum over the last years has grown in attendance almost 40%. So I would say that now we are serving more than 500,000 people a year. And also we have increased the number of donations of works of art, and our capacity to show those works of art is what makes a great museum. So we have right now 7% on display. We would like to have more of the works of art on display. We would like to have also better conditions to how today people work. People work more collaboratively, people need to be closer together, and the offices are former galleries. Many of the offices we have is former galleries. So we don't want to tear houses down. On the contrary, we're repurposing them and very consciously for office space.
But when I look at some of the sites from the neighborhood associations, they talk about plans to possibly have a hotel or to demolish the homes and put in other kinds of buildings there, and that's what they're worried about.
I think what is it is there has been so many messages and perhaps so long process on that. So yes, we had a plan that we shared with the community 2-3 years ago, designed by Wes Manfredi, in which those houses are in the north part would become an office and gallery space and a library part, and then there was going to be a hotel. We then engaged over the years with the community, and we had charrettes, we involved a lot of the people, and we heard from them that that is not what the neighborhood. And what we love is the love that there is and the engagement from these neighbors. So that's why we changed the plan, and what we filed is saying, no, we're not tearing the houses down. And we are very respectful of the fact that we don't want to change the urban character of this neighborhood and impact. On the contrary, I think many see the Nelson as the stabilizing factor, and I would say that most of the neighborhood bought their homes after the museum was there, so they also cherish the museum, and that's part. Now, it's always a tension when you have a lot of visitors and there's events and you want the peace and quiet of your neighborhood. So that's a normal tension between urban museums that live in neighborhoods like this.
Now, the Jazz Museum was making news over much of the summer over plans at City Hall to invest more than $27 million in the 18th and Vine Jazz District to revitalize the area. After months of debate, that was scaled back sharply to $7 million. Were you disappointed with that?
I don't think so. It's actually, the project is a phase project. So there's a phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. So phase 1 is the $7 million, which would really, I think in a lot of ways, begin to stabilize some of the structures that are in the district, the historical structures, creating a CID, a community improvement district, and creating a system where the district will be managed like the city market. So there will be a committee in place or a system in place where there will be an entity.
Would any of that money be used, Chepto, to actually improve the visitor experience of the Jazz Museum? Because there is a concern, and it's been expressed by panelists on this program, that if you go to the American Jazz Museum, you've gone there once, what's your incentive to return there?
The incentive to return that is not to depend on just the permanent exhibits. It's the temporary exhibits. We have an art gallery. We have live music going on. We have educational programs going on. But part of the funding gives us some money to begin to design and to begin to plan for the future of the museum. Some of those things, the low-hanging fruit, the entry experience, for example, designing and expanding the Blue Room to probably include food in the future.
And that's been said also among panelists of this program, George Costello, about Science City at Union Station. Yes, you have the traveling exhibits, but Science City, if you've been there once, what's the incentive to come back?
Constant programming changes. That's why we were selected the best science center in the world last year by Aztec. So I guess reality sometimes comes to life and makes people happy about it. So that's what we have to do all the time. And kids constantly coming back to learn.
The Kansas City Symphony is marking its 5th anniversary this fall in your new home at the Kauffman Center for the Performing Arts. Before that space opened up, there were worries that with the need to hike up ticket prices to pay for the fancier digs, it could actually depress attendance. Did you maintain, lose, or boost your audience since Kauffman's opening, Frank Byrne?
Boosted dramatically. We were very careful when we made this move to ensure that we kept ticket prices affordable. So in the Kauffman Center, we still have $25 tickets to most events. We still have $10 student tickets, among the most affordable anywhere. And in that time, our audience has grown by 50% and our revenue by nearly 100%. So yes, we did increase some ticket prices, but with a very intentional plan to make it affordable for the most people in the community.
Now, Julian mentioned earlier something about making the Nelson relevant to new audiences. That's always the challenge. Well, I see this weekend fans of Harry Potter are eagerly awaiting the movie release of the highly anticipated prequel, Fantastic Beasts. and where to find them. And I noticed at the same time the Symphony is now advertising tickets for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in concert. You're performing the full John Williams score while Harry Potter is shown on a 40-foot high-definition screen. Is this attracting different people to buy tickets, or is the same Symphony regulars happy to support a break from the normal programming?
What we focus on, Nick, is what a symphony orchestra can do uniquely well. And these great scores were recorded in a studio when the film was released. We're able to play it live, and it's absolutely thrilling experience. Looking at what we did this past weekend with Raiders of the Lost Ark, of the audience who came to the sold-out shows, 25% were new. So obviously we're getting new people, and the faithful are coming and enjoying that special experience.
Now, we're becoming accustomed to acts of rudeness in public settings. We have to negotiate our way past angry drivers on the road, loud, obnoxious customers at restaurants, people who just won't stop talking when the lights go down at the movie theatre. But are some of our most refined cultural spaces now under assault by audience rudeness?
Don't answer.
More and more orchestras around the country reporting halting performances because of the incessant ringing of cell phones. Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Opera cancels a performance at intermission after an audience member throws ashes into the orchestra pit.
He was here to sprinkle ashes of a friend, his mentor in opera, during the performance.
Then there's selfie sticks.
Anyone intending to pay a visit to the Smithsonian's museums and gardens and go wild taking selfie stick-assisted photos will have to come up with a new plan. The venerated institution has banned the use of the telescoping camera accessory.
The ban comes after the much-loved selfie stick has led to some reported near misses at art museums, but that's not the only issue. Another issue is the stick could be used as a weapon.
Frank Byrne, let's start with you here. Tell me, are you interrupting any performances at the Symphony because of pesky cell phones going off?
No, people have actually been very respectful and appropriate. What we do notice is that in different styles of performance, for instance, some of our Pops concerts where we have a popular artist up there, people are used to going to a concert where they can be at a huge arena, they can talk, they can do whatever they want. And it's a bit of a change for them. But honestly, most of the complaints we might get from a few selected audience members is that their neighbor was too fidgety, or they might have talked for a minute during the performance. But for the most part, our audiences are great.
Can I bring my selfie stick to the Pompeii exhibit at Union Station, George?
No. I'll make it very simple. But you can bring your cell phone, no flash. But no, and professional cameras not. Because you want to be able to engage with the artifact, and you don't want to disturb others around you. And so we even have some special times where we want more mature folks to be able to do it, and so the kids won't disturb them.
Are you noticing a change, though, in visitor demeanor, Julian, at the Nelson over the years?
So one thing I think we all have embraced, that everyone has a cell phone and wants to take pictures. And we encourage it now. I mean, before it was, we were trying to sell postcards. Today, we know that we want to encourage people to tweet. I tweeted last night from your facility, and it got so many retweets. And it is the way of saying, I make the experience mine, and I want to share it. And especially younger generations are doing that. But what I see also is the enormous respect that people bring into the things they cherish. And I would say that one of my biggest fears when I started is seeing all of this huge sculpture park that we have and all of the beautiful masterpieces that we have outdoors. And while we have a lot of security and it's almost unobtrusive, we have never experienced vandalism. And that is because I think there's a lot of love and respect. And I would
even the maze you have outside, which is all made of glass.
Well, what
no
I would
vandalism?
say, there's been no vandalism, but I do want to say it on camera, and thank you for bringing that up. People have done stupid things. One, and we have it on our security, wanted to prove to their friends that he could run it, and then he does like that and smashes into and broke the glass. It's concerning for him, and it's concerning for the security of the. You cannot run in the glass labyrinth. It is a complex piece of art, and if you want a tip, if you want to do it very quickly, look up. The brass drawing helps you navigate it. but it is a marvelous experience. It's an experiential art. But yeah, some people, never vandalism. It has been more just trying to show their friends and beat, but I don't recommend it.
Okay, it's now 6 months since Kansas City launched its streetcar line. Lots of discussions about the impact from our reporters on this program. But what about for you? Union Station is right on the streetcar line, George. Has it in any way boosted the number of people coming into your restaurants, your exhibitions coming into Science City?
1 million people have run the streetcar, and we are the hub. Yes, we have seen a significant increase in people that haven't been to Union Station in years.
Does it really benefit the symphony? I mean, Kaufman is on there too.
It's difficult to know how people arrive at our performances, but anything that helps downtown, and particularly the downtown residents, we love.
But you're about 20 blocks really away, so that you're much more isolated from the streetcar line. So any benefit to the American Jazz Museum?
Nothing that I've seen, but I think it would be really interesting to look at having a bridge to the 18th and Vine, maybe some kind of bus line that you can get off the streetcar and go to 18th and Vine. That would really be a wonderful solution for us right now.
And you're not on there either.
We're waiting desperately. I wanted to go to Plaza. I wanted to go all the way to UMKC. I think the city wants it and needs it, and I cannot wait this happen quickly enough, because I know so many students that live close to us, that go downtown, many people who live downtown, and now that also the Conservatory of Music will be in the campus. You just see UMKC's student body population going back and forth, you think that, and of course when stopped close to the Nelson, again not immediately next to the Nelson, but there's also the B-cycle things, and that has been also so successful. We see how many people are using the bicycle, share bicycle system, amazing. So can't wait enough.
And I said this was not going to be a political program. Thank you for that. And that is all we have time for on this arts and culture edition of Week in Review. You can bump into Chepto Kosatani Buckner at the American Jazz Museum, uncontrollably erupting this week at Union Station, George Costello, always striking the right note at the Kansas City Symphony, Frank Byrne, and catch him in the galleries at the Nelson Atkins Museum, Julian Zugazagoitia. And I'm simply Nick Haynes. From all of us here at KCPT, thanks for spending part of your weekend with us.